Let's get that started. So, reviewing the the observation I did for you earlier, and we're talking about that manufacturing engineering class. The main thing I have start with some questions here. This will be a while. Only one person is going to be watching this, maybe two. Like, what do you want out of that class? Like, what's the goal to get out of that class with those students?
So, what I really want, I want the kids to have an opportunity to explore something that they are genuinely curious about, right? Something that they're passionately curious about, and that they're willing to put in the work and effort to arrive at some decent conclusion.
Right.
Because what I'm getting right now is I've got one who's all in. He's excited about it. He's doing research independently. He's coming in and he's working on his computer. He's working on his model. He's trying to perfect it because he knows at the end of this project, and this is the guitar kid. At the end of this guitar project, he's going to have a guitar that he designed and built and really cared for and crafted to hang on his wall for the rest of his life, because it's probably going to play like crap.
Yeah, it's
probably not going to play like crap. But I mean, the amount of research he's done into just fretboards design, right, and how the ratio between all those works, and how to write G code to machine little tiny things, and whether to use that or use hand tools, and how to use those hand tools. He's going through and he's looking at all of it.
Right. So you have one that's highly successful.
Well, no, he's had the least success of anybody because it's such a hard damn project.
But isn't that the whole point of engineering, though? Trial and error, and just fix it and get to that point.
But I'm just saying, as far as a product goes.
Oh, finished product.
He's produced less products than anybody else in the class, but he's gearing up for that big thing. But that kind of speaks to his whole musical ability and wanting to learn about, knowing that you can if you just put your head down and you work, you're going to come out on the other side better off than you would have been had you just sought those little tiny easy goals.
Do you think he's going to get more out of it than everybody else? Oh, or just different, getting something different out of it? I mean, overall, I'm just looking at some of your other students and just observing, some of them are here because they're here.
They're here because they like my class.
Right.
Or they like classes like mine in the past.
Right. So but that one kid's definitely going to be, that's kind of what your whole program wants to be like, is that one kid that has that big capstone idea going hey, all year long, we're going to work on this, this, and this, and repeat your failures or celebrate your successes with him.
But also, it reminds me of who's that dude, that professor from Hogwarts who collects all the best and brightest minds?
Oh, at the very, no, you're
the very
end.
Yeah,
that guy.
I don't want to be that guy either.
Right, you don't want.
I'd love to motivate them to really do this on their own, but
that could be. But that's also from the guys the program I looked at, they call it learning relationships, almost. So they would know your class before they take your class. Kids know what my class is kind of like before they take my class. They've heard about what that class is like. Before they take my AP class, they know, well, it's going to be hard. They've had other people talk to them down. Are all the people in this class going to be, are they all seniors? Most of them are?
Actually, the only one who's working is a junior. Seniors are pretty much checked out.
Right. So that junior, though, can he take that class again next year?
If he wanted to, yeah.
Right. So that junior is kind of your catalyst going hey, go talk to all the other smart kids. This is the cool class to go, and you can work on this, this, and this. And because he's also saying it, not only you're saying it to your random classes that you're I know you're doing it because I'm doing it too, where I find my good students and I'm you should really take this class next year. This is the good class. Those learning relationships where they know what your class is before they get into the class. Mm-hmm. So they're I know this is going to be a good class, or I know this class is going to be hard, but I still want to take that class. So that's a good thing to have, is and sometimes it just takes years of building a program for you to get to that point where they're I know what's in that class now. I'm ready for it, or more or less when I get to the AP kids, I want them to be excited that I chose them to be in that class.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I'm letting you be an AP right now because you're special. That could be the same with this engineering. Like, I've chosen you. This is going to be the class that we're going to make it really cool for you.
Here's the issue that I'm having. Right, I've got one of those. I've got that capstone class where we're making the spectrometer and we're making the automatic dog feeder, and like those are my high achieving, highly motivated. Yeah, 3 out of 4 highly motivated kids, right?
Right, want to be
get it, and they want to do it. The manufacturing is kind of, I don't want to say like JV for that, but to a large degree it is, right? It's the kids who still want to like learn about engineering and do engineering things, but without all of the math and the quantification and the workload.
So, like, do you think if you organized it differently, it'd be more successful? Because, like, I think having like a rubric or having those clear goals stated for those kids,
I gotta be honest, like,
would probably be like where you want to go with it.
Yeah, if I organized anything, I'd be better.
Yeah.
But I'm well, okay. Like, if we're going truth time, if I was like really well organized and on top of things, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be managing a team of engineers.
Well, these are like baby engineers.
They're like little baby.
They're little baby engineers.
Who,
so, like, unfortunately, that's why I'm here to help you out on this. So, like, what we could do is we could start with like just a rubric of what you think the kids should have on a project. Like, when I do my stuff, I let them do whatever they want to do, but there's a rubric they have to follow. So when your grading time, it's not like, well, you finished a guitar, great, and you did 7 other projects. Like, does it balance out? Like, not really. So setting small goals for them would probably be the way to go, and then having that rubric, like, even with your objectives, like, what's your objective for this project? And it could be any project. You can make it super vague, where it's like, well, I want good craftsmanship. I want you to have good craftsmanship, and I want you to do the project, and then I need you to do I call it a written statement, but you could do something like
some sort of communicating your results.
A result, yeah. Just like, tell me if you can even fail the whole project, as long as you're cataloging what you did wrong or what you did right. And we can like put that up on your whiteboard so that they would have it visible. And I think that's huge for like my students. I have it on both my classrooms. I have those goals listed so that they know without asking me, what do I have to do for this project? Well, it's right here and here. Like, just look around my room for the little bit that you need to do, and you will figure this out. So that could be something we could set up where we have it on. I mean, you have 2 whiteboards in this classroom. You could just set up an easy objectives and goals for this classroom, along with like a rubric of what you look for every project.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be like, you can just put that, what they look for every project. That could be every class. And then by the time they get to your other classes, they've already known what you're expecting. By the time they've taken your class 3 or 4 times, they're like, oh, we know these expectations. They're right here on the board because we wrote them all out. And they'll flux. Like, I change mine, not regular, probably like every year. I'll do it, and I'm like, well, this one isn't right. Let me upgrade or reword it so that they understand it a little bit better. But just setting that up for everybody to be successful in today's class and next year's class is kind of like a good way to start thinking about what's next year going to look like. I know we're already kind of late, but it doesn't mean that you don't always constantly look for,
how can I do this better?
Okay, it's constantly that's good. What I do wrong, because I want to make my students better too. I look at them and I'm like, ugh. Like, there's about 7 of you that really are like, I'm slacking. So what do I have to do to make myself better? And same with, I think, every teacher ever. I don't think any teacher's acing this thing to be like, oh yeah, perfect. I went perfect every time. Every time it's perfect. I don't know what the problem is. So I think like that building relationships is huge though, because then they get to know you, and then they want to come back to you.
Yeah, but then they're lazy and they piss me off a little bit, and I'm like, why should I continue banging my head against the wall to try to make you successful when you're not going to lift a finger for them.
Well, they might be lazy because they don't understand their clear goals they have or what you're expecting from them. And by doing this, you're already setting that goal up. You're going like, listen, these are the goals, and you've known them because you've been with me for 2 years. Like, the jackassery has to stop because I don't have to baby you anymore because you know. And then, like, in my class, and probably some of your class too,
Yeah.
my classes and eventually your classes, the other students will tell each other, don't turn that in. Like, that's a bad choice. Like, he's not going to accept that, or you're going to get a poor grade because
That's
they can
thing.
like
I need to be more of a hard ass on the grading side of things.
Yeah, grading is the hardest, but like setting up a rubric, that's not that hard to do. We can go over mine and just like alter it to make it more less arty and more engineering. Like, yeah, but there's different languages that you would use. Like, you wouldn't use the same language I would use, and I wouldn't use the same language that you would use because we have to have it makes it sound smarter when you use the language that belongs in your group or in your subject matter, I should say. Yeah, but having clear goals set for your students, having them set up, and then writing it all down.
And then sticking to your guns about that.
And it eliminates them asking questions because it's already on the board. It's right there, look. And then they'll immediately go, oh yeah. And then by the second or third year, as long as you don't move where you keep your objectives at, and then be like, oh, where'd you move them? Like, I don't know, they're gone. I moved them to the other board. Like, I
can't find that board. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I keep them in the same spot in both the rooms. I just rewrite them every year because it gets gross in the summer. But I rewrite those, and they know, I know. And like, that was our big thing with our program was clear objectives, make the students know exactly what you're expecting out of them. Once they know and you know, it's on them to start making your stuff. And again, this is not your first year. First year students would know your rubric and know your objectives. Your third and fourth years would just be following along with them and already have them kind of memorized without like having to rehatch it, because you're teaching the first and second years like, this is how this program is going to work. And by the time those kids get 3 and 4 years, then you're like, yo, we know this by now. Like, let's stop. Let's have it going. Let's have it go.
Yeah. All right. You actually got me kind of sold on like, oh, maybe we should do this.
No, we definitely can. It's not, I'll bring up my rubrics. They're really, I have easy rubrics and I have hard rubrics. And the best part about a rubric is it tells you exactly what you want. And you as a teacher get to be determining on how you perceive it and how they perceive it. Like, I can have leniency on craftsmanship because I determine craftsmanship. So if you do a really good job, great for your job. But if the other kid does a poor job, but that's the best he can do, I consider that craftsmanship, the effort that he's put into it, really high, because I've watched him struggle.
You know that he's all thumbs. Right?
I know it, yeah. But I do know the effort that he's put in is a lot higher than that other kid's effort. Even though I look at craftsmanship, I'm like, well, this kid has tried and tried and tried. You took one shot at it and you stopped caring. Like, craftsmanship means that the best you can do, and the best he can do is they're different levels. So by just putting that out there, you still are the judge of the whole program. It's still on your program. It's just they have to figure out how you operate. Building relationships, main thing. Build them up.
All right.
That's what. Yeah, it's not horribly hard. It's just sticking to your guns, making sure they follow them down, and then pull out a rubric every once in a while, like to go over it with them and tell them why they got that grade. That helps out a lot too for me. Just being like, hey, listen, let's go over the rubric. You want to know why you got a C? Right here. Boom, 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 weren't met. Or can you prove me that they were met? Put it back on them. Here's my rubric at every, like, especially if it's on the board, you're like, here's the rubric. Tell me how you did this. Or when I taught elementary or middle school, I gave them the rubric and I said, fill this out, then I'll fill it out and we'll compare it. Then they have to go through and they have to know why they put that there. Once they put it there, then you have to also give your explanations, which again, your explanations are pretty easy. And then they decide, and you can see if you're close or far away to make a determination. Go with their grade, go with your grade. And then but the rubric is the hard thing, is to figure out what you're wanting from every class and what you're wanting from each project, and make it vague enough that it can fit every project you do, but tight enough that it still is applicable to every project you do. So it's kind of tricky. Art's super easy. I mean, even my like state goals is like students experimented with art materials. I'm like, check. Like, how well did you do though?
Right. Our standards are pretty similar.
Yeah.
So I think I got 12 or something.
And they're very vague.
They're very vague.
Very vague.
One of them's always like lab safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so there's a way to work around it, but again, we can set up that rubric pretty easy for our next step and what we want to do. And then even list some objectives. Just get some objectives written down, and then we can hone them in and make them sound correct, or make them sound simple enough that the students know them without thinking about it. Like, just make them enough that they know what they are, check them off the list. They don't have to like go crazy about too hard of like what they're thinking. So not dumbing it down, but simplifying it for the students is a huge thing as well.
Okay.
But we can do all that and then set that up, get that on the board, get the kids ready to go. So, I mean, that's what your whole class is gonna, you want to know what your class looks like. And then from there, you can set up your objectives and your rubric.
Seems to be working for you.
It's been built though.
How long did it take?
This is my third year doing this. It's starting to get good, but I'm also going like, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. So I already know where I have to improve and possibly even go back and change the way I teach. I saw where I could probably do some mini lessons in between stuff that I haven't done. I'm like, oh, it'd probably be really good if I did a mini lesson with the whole grade right now. We're all doing this lesson. So I don't have to teach it 15 other times to you. But I like teaching to every student. I like that because it breaks up my day.
Individualization, yeah. So your struggling students, the ones who are choosing not, how do you stay like on them and be like, you know, because you've got a 2-week
Mm-hmm.
2-week due date schedule. Like my guitar kid has been working since the beginning of the semester.
Right.
Like
So, like,
he's 12 weeks in, and he's probably got another. Honestly, probably got another 7. Like
Yeah.
we might be spilling over. He might not get this finished this year. He's worked his butt off, but he
Mhm.
might not get this finished this year.
so when I do that, when I have a kid that's doing extra,
Well,
that's going
let
extra.
me stop you there though. Like he's not the one that I'm worried about, right?
Right.
He's learning, but we've got other kids, right? Who, let's say they're making the linear screw conveyor, and they want, they know that it's due in 2 weeks, right? Is it going to be ready in 2 weeks? No.
No. And that's part of the rubric is on time. Is it on time? Yes or no? Check it off. There's 10 points gone. It's not done on time. It can be turned in late, but it's not. Check it off my list. It's not on there. So that's how I can take care of it. You can easily just put it in the rubric. Did you turn it in on time? Yes or no? And that's worth 5, 10, 20 points, whatever you want it to make it. So that's how you keep them in line. And that's how you keep them in check, is just keep your rubric right. So if you put it in the rubric, they know it, you know it, and that's how you can get them graded without even it's not on you. They know what the rubric says. So either way. So our next steps for this is going to be setting up our rubric and our objectives.
All right.
Sound good to you? Sounds
Yeah.
good to me. Check it.